All right, welcome to an IGN biggest game release of September. I figured I want something a little different to give me an idea of what's going on, and also you guys an idea of what's going on. Like and subscribe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special Gamescom Studio Edition of Biggest Game Releases, the show where we run down what's coming out for PC consoles and beyond in any given month. As tempting as it was to run down all the video games that came out already in November 2001, we figured it might be more relevant to talk about next month
might play
instead.
that still.
So here are September 2025 biggest game releases.
We're gonna start adding like games, possibly like animes I watch.
Before we get into it, just a friendly reminder that we all work really hard to make these videos as informative, accurate, and up-to-date as possible, but video game release dates change constantly, whether that means a very last-minute delay, a surprise announcement, or something in between. And it is extremely possible, if not likely, that some new information falls through the cracks in this video. Also, this is a series made by actual human beings, and unlike cold, unthinking, infallible machines that think glue goes on pizza and the word Oreo is a palindrome, sometimes we screw up, so apologies if that happens. We're sorry. Please be kind, and for best results, always check your local listings. Now let's talk about some video games. On September 3rd, there's Hirogami on PC and PS5, a 3D platformer set in a world inspired by origami, the Japanese art of folding paper, and potentially kirigami, which is the art of folding and cutting paper. If you prefer something a little heavier than paper and scissors, you can rock out in the metal-looking Jotun Slayer Hordes of Hell, which is a roguelite survival game rooted in Norse mythology. That's on PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. I already said PC.
If it was on Steam,
hey, remember
how I
said sometimes video game release dates come out of nowhere? Well, we got a doozy over here. Hollow Knight's long-awaited sequel, Silksong, finally got a release date in the middle of Gamescom. You probably heard about it already. September 4th. It's coming to basically everything.
It looks so
Happy
good.
Birthday, Silksong fans.
I love challenges like that.
Happy September 4th, I guess. On the 4th, those very same platforms get the standard edition of Hell Is Us. The deluxe edition gives early access starting on the 1st, but for everybody else, it's the 4th. For me, Hell is staggered release dates. But in any case, this game has hints of Death Stranding and FromSoft, but it's also taking some inspiration from Jeff Vandermeer's Southern Reach trilogy, the very good sci-fi novels that were loosely adapted into the also very good but very different film Annihilation. So hopefully this game is also very
Inferno,
good.
But like
September 4th also sees the release of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle's first DLC expansion, The Order of the Giants. This is coming to all platforms the game is already out on, which sadly does not yet include the Nintendo Switch 2. But if you're a Nintendo Switch 2 owner,
that means it'll work.
A game that starts with the Lucasfilm logo and has John Williams-esque
orchestral looks good. I haven't even played
Star Wars Outlaws gets a port that day, which adds a few exclusive features to the new Nintendo Hybrid, like touchscreen minigames, and both the Outlaws DLC expansions will be available for that one day.
They got this game looking so good.
Then
you look at the YouTube on it,
Kajora, which hits PC that day. This hand-drawn puzzle platformer follows a trio of friends who realize their village is stuck in a time loop. If you'd rather be in a time loop in a more roguelite sense, and also in outer space, you've got options. The co-op roguelite shooter Void Crew, which is already on PC, comes to Xbox Series and PS5. Meanwhile, PC players can get Moros Protocol, a crunchy
This game looks somewhat interesting.
Pixelated roguelite boomer shooter.
Looks free to play.
Cell-shaded stuff instead. I got you. There's also Jet Runner, a parkour
Jet Runner looks
FPS
nice as well.
That describes itself as a cross between Titanfall.
I should have paused a little earlier for some of these videos, like the ones I really like.
If you would sooner get slapped upside the head than play a roguelite or an FPS, well, strap on your MetaQuest and check out the story-driven VR fighting game Slap Fighter, which sounds pretty self-explanatory. If you want to rage against the machine in a game whose title incorporates the title of a James Cameron movie, as well as the name of a discontinued, youth-oriented Toyota-owned auto brand, well, Damon Ex Machina Titanic Scion is probably for you, I think. The sequel to the 2019 mech action game, which is coming to Switch 2, Xbox Series, PS5, and PC. If you want something with slick anime aesthetics that's a little more cerebral, there's also Shootin' Order, which blends puzzle, dating sim, survival horror, and escape room mechanics and themes into something that looks pretty out there, which is to be expected since it's from the creator of Danganronpa. That's on PC and Switch. If you'd rather be shooting some three-pointers, there's also NBA 2K26 that day as well on everything, though people who pre-ordered the premium editions that include early access will have been playing this game since last month.
If you're repulsed by the idea of a sport where one must propel a large ball a short distance into a vessel it's going to fall out of, and you'd prefer to play a game about propelling a very small ball large distances into a vessel where it'll probably stay put, well, that's oddly specific, but you're probably going to enjoy Everybody's Golf Hot Shots.
This is the first new installment in the casual, cartoony golf series in 8 years, and while it's historically been PlayStation exclusive, this new one is coming to PC and Switch.
Some golf games are really calming. It's hard to even complain about that. I think there are too many, though.
September 5th also sees the latest from Team Bloober, Chronos New Dawn, a survival horror steeped
I've seen
in
some people play. It's interesting. I've only seen like the first 2 levels.
In this one, if you don't get rid of the gross, scary
monsters
monsters properly, they merge together into even grosser, scarier monsters that are even harder to get rid of, which sounds to me like a combination of 2 of the creepiest concepts to ever grace the survival horror genre. The Crimson Head zombies in the original Resident Evil, which you had to burn to get rid of, and the Rat King in The Last of Us Part 2, which was a bunch of gross monsters glued together. That's on PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, and PC. If you'd like to play a game about things with tentacles that will not give you bad dreams at night, you might be better off with Operation Octo, which is a cute tower defense game about cartoon cephalopods, and it's on PC.
That does look kind of cute, oddly. I thought it was a tower defense.
If you love lasagna, hate Mondays, and live your life 1/4 mile at a time, well, buckle up, because Garfield Kart 2, All You Can Drift, hits consoles.
I heard the Angry Joe show talking about this.
It features a flabbergasting roster of 8 iconic characters, including Garfield, Odie, Nermal, John Arbuckle, Arlene,
I don't know the names.
Dr. Liz Wilson, and Big Vicious Dog. And by including, I mean that's all.
It looks so good for my
kid,
September
12th, Borderlands 4 hits Xbox Series, PS5, and PC, and it seems to be tackling a number of the issues that fans had with Borderlands 3
After he
and
plays
its
Mario
subsequent
Kart, what am I going to tell him if it didn't work?
Pumping the brakes on the goofs and gags while also tweaking, streamlining, and or refining the loot system menus and co-op that'll be hitting Nintendo
This
Switch
Borderlands,
2
compared to all the other ones
well.
I've seen, looks really good.
Roman Sans Rebuild sounds like a cousin of Roman Reigns, or perhaps a historical RTS, but it is, in fact, an adventure, gotcha, puzzle, apocalypse, visual novel, simulation, horror trip, according to the official description.
That involves working at a luxury resort, but also a post-apocalyptic wasteland. I'm not sure how those two intersect, but from what I've gathered, it already came out, sort of, and then it got unreleased. But then it was planned for release in 2023, and then again in 2024, but supposedly it's actually out September 12th, 2025 for Switch and PC, with other console versions arriving at some point, I guess? If you need something a little easier pieced together than that release strategy, LEGO Voyagers drops on the 15th, which is a 2-player co-op adventure, a bit like Hazelight's games A Way Out, or It Takes Two, or Split Fiction, except instead of playing as prison inmates, dolls with marital problems, or struggling authors, you are a couple of cute little LEGO bricks. That's on basically everything but Xbox One. If you want a game that involves building stuff out of natural resources instead of modular damaged construction toys, there is Voyagers of Nera, the co-op survival game set in a gorgeous ocean world, which is also an open world, and vice versa, I believe. That hits PC on the 16th. On the 18th, Emotionless, The Last Ticket hits PC, which is a liminal cosmic horror game set in an abandoned theme park where people throw ducks at balloons and nothing is as it seems.
Okay, the ducks and the balloons thing is really more of a Simpsons reference, but all the rest, it certainly seems like it's nothing as it seems.
If you want to go on a horrifying nightmare adventure, but also bring some friends along for emotional support, Labyrinthine Console Edition arrives that same day on PS5 and Xbox Series, and it's already on PC, and now it's getting cross-platform co-op for up to 8 players.
Usually when we talk about classes in video games, it means like jobs for wizards and knights and stuff, and not the kind of classes you take in a classroom. But what if it was both?
What if it was
Heroes
both?
3 Remastered is a school-centric dungeon-crawling RPG originally released for the PSP that is now getting polished up and coming to PS5, Switch, and PC.
I won't lie, I would probably play that.
Is a Zelda-like from the studio that brought us the first-person puzzle game Suicide Guy, which was later renamed Sleepin' Guy for reasons that shouldn't be too hard to figure out. My Child of Ages is coming to PC on the 18th, Switch on the 25th, and basically everything else at some point.
I can only think of Explosive Man.
They should do a prequel called My Wife of Seasons. Finally, that day also sees Frostpunk 2 finally hitting Xbox Series and PS5, which promises to be a good time for anyone who's looking to have a bad time managing a struggling community in a bleak post-apocalyptic ice age.
I've never played it. I've thought of it on Game Pass a few times.
Tree, well, great news, because on the 19th, there is Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, which also has that guy in it.
Which is a roguelite that presumably also entails some arboreal enforcement. That means guarding a tree, I think. That's on PS5, Xbox Series, Switch, and PC. Still that day on Switch and PC and PS5 is Trails in the Sky.
Oh my God, she's shooting up those animals.
Of the first game.
Laser gun,
first
ready.
Chapter in the long-running Trails series, so if you're looking for a good jumping-on point, this could be for you. And if you've been playing
all the
since
sheep,
day one and don't remember everything that happened in a game from 21 years ago, this could also be for you. All of these games could be for anybody if you think think about it.
He would have been my enemy.
If you want to brutally murder a bunch of dead stuff that's not entirely dead and do some parkour while you're at it, well, great news, because Dying Light: The Beast is also out this month.
Which is one of those games that started off as
thinking about
DLC
it,
before
but if I
spinning
play
off
this
into a whole
Dying
thing
Light,
of its own. And hey, that's how we got Legend of
definitely
Zelda:
have to
Tears
beat
of the
the other
Kingdom.
ones.
But on the
I
other
have.
hand, it's also how we got Saints Row: Gat Out of Hell. Hopefully this goes more like the former than the latter.
Like,
Well,
I could
we'll have to
beat
wait
2
see.
and come back
on the
to
23rd,
1,
you can
but,
explore
like,
the
I
world
got
of
to.
gelatinous
My
agriculture
girl
and
likes
Slime
this
Rancher
game.
2 on PS5,
She got part
Xbox
1.
Series, and PC, or the world of electrophysical puzzle solving in House of
I would
Tesla
play this
on
one. This is the
PC.
one I like.
Some people will try to tell you that Denial is not a river in Egypt, but those people are lying to themselves.
Denial's
If you'd
not
like to
a
uncover the
river in
truth of
Egypt.
some literal pyramid schemes, Agatha Christie Death on the Nile retells the classic whodunit in an adventure game form, but it sets it in the groovy 1970s. That's on PC,
That's
Switch,
interesting.
Xbox Series, and PS5. If you'd rather solve mysteries in the 1960s Japan while also
I've
getting
been
the
wanting to
F
play
word
this game.
scared
Every
out
time
of
I
you,
see that
Silent
combat,
Hill F arrives
I'd
on the
just rather
25th
not
as
fight.
well. This is the first mainline entry in the beloved psychological horror series in 13 years, but it's also deviating from the mainline games by not
Oh, you
actually
do
taking
dodge.
place in the state of Maine. Curious to see how this one lands with longtime Silent Hill fans and curious newcomers alike. That's
Man,
on
I keep
Xbox Series,
kicking my
PS5, and PC. Still That Day is Consume Me, a semi-autobiographical indie life sim following a teenage girl who is struggling with an eating disorder and body image issues, which has a cute, colorful aesthetic, but something tells me it gets pretty dark. That's on PC
Yeah.
and Mac.
That must have
Sonic
been
the
the boy
Hedgehog
she
says
likes
he's got to
or
go
something.
fast. Don't worry, he's talking about increasing his velocity, not decreasing his chili dog intake.
Sonic Racing Crossworld sees the blue blur in his usual cohorts.
I missed
hitting
the
road
beta for
with some
that.
detours by way
I
of
would've
sea,
had that
air, and
recorded.
space,
I can't
with
be
a
wasting
roster
time.
that's going to get pretty crowded post-launch.
I gotta play
Some
things
free
immediately,
DLC characters
man.
include Ichiban Kasuga from Like a Dragon, Joker from Persona 5, and Hatsune Miku from the discontinued 2013 Japanese Domino's Pizza app.
Live performance of Love
All
for
right.
Life, produced by Domino's Crew. Here we go.
But wait, there's more. There's a ton of post-launch DLC.
I remember her
planned
from when
with
I used to
Season
play the
Pass,
cat and mouse
including
game on
SpongeBob and Patrick,
Dreamcast.
and also a bunch of critters from Minecraft.
So it seems like it could be a big old Super Smash Bros. Style crossover
It
kart
looks
racer.
really
Personally, I hope
nice.
they add my top 8 favorite Garfield characters. Garfield, Odie, Nermal, John Arbuckle, Arlene, Squeak the Mouse, Dr. Liz Wilson, and Big Vicious Dog.
I
On
don't
September
remember there
25th,
being
the
more than
American
10
football
characters
season
in
will officially be
Garfield.
underway, but if you roll your eyes at the idea of a football that won't actually roll because it is technically a prolate spheroid, you're in luck because EA Sports FC 26 is here to help you achieve your goals.
I like soccer.
You
I
can
don't
play
know
that
why. I
basically
get
everywhere,
angry
and if
when
you get
people
the
start
Ultimate
bumping
Edition,
into
you
me,
can play
though.
even more everywhere with early access that starts on the 19th. That time of year has come once again where I'm obligated to say the word atelier out loud, heralding another entry in Koei Tecmo's long-running RPG series. The
I've
latest
never heard of
installment,
this.
Atelier Resleriana, the Red Alchemist and the White Guardian. It's an all-new single-player RPG with new protagonists,
I ain't
free-roam
never heard of
overworld,
this.
and multi-level dungeons. That's on PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. If you want to play an overhauled version of a beloved RPG that came out in 1997 rather than the latest installment in a series that started then, the fan-favorite strategy spin-off Final Fantasy Tactics is getting a
It looks
modern
nice.
makeover with the Ivalice Chronicles.
The
It's got
hugs,
full
the
VO, cleaned up
horses.
graphics, and a bunch of gameplay tweaks, and it's coming to everything except Xbox One. Sorry, Xbox One.
It looks
and
nice.
finally, if Alien
Yeah,
Earth
why-
has your HR gear
why is
counter
Xbox
going
One not
haywire
getting
and you want to
anything?
blast some acid-blooded biomechanical perfect organisms with an M41A pulse rifle and or get your skull caved in by the steel-fanged inner jaw of one, well, me too. And luckily, Alien Rogue Incursion, last year's VR exclusive shooter, is getting a non-VR Evolved Edition.
Bear in
Oh,
mind that it's
sweet.
only part one,
That's
so
what it is.
expect
I was like, it
Cliffhanger
looks
after
like
all
this
the
came
face huggers
out.
and chest bursters. That's coming to PC and PS5 on September 30th.
And there you have it. Those are
I
a
didn't
whole
wanna
bunch
play
of
that
games
on
coming out in
VR.
September 2025. Not
Thought I
all
was
of
gonna
them,
get sick.
but a whole bunch. If you want to stay 1000% up to date, go grab the IGN Playlist app. You can track all the games you've ever played, all the games you've ever wanted to play,
Nah,
and even make weird.
We good on that. Thanks for staying tuned. I just wanted to keep us all up to date on some games that are coming out this month, and some that we may get, some we may not get. Like and subscribe, and leave some comments and telling me which games you think would be interesting for me to play. All right, have a good one.